Yo, guys, what's up, and welcome back to the Marvelous Chats podcast. This is episode 169. Tonight on the cast is myself, Finto, and Alex, aka Zaberwolf. We're going to be talking about the new Marvel show Ironheart and any other nerdy news in between. If you're new to the channel, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, leave a like on the video, and let us know in the comments if you're watching a replay. Without further ado, here we go. Hello there.
Hey buddy, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Just been quite busy. In addition to the like having to run out and come back, I also had a quick call with my team and whatnot. So business is booming. Got a lot of stories to work on. So I'm having a pretty good couple of months. I like being busy, man. It feels good.
I'm the same, bro. I'm the same. I hate not having things to do. Like my work is done on timesheets, and if I'm scrambling to try and find time in a day, that's just pisses me off.
Yeah, well, and then I feel like, oh man, they're gonna fire me if I don't like have shit to do, and they're gonna be like, well, we don't need him if he's not working. It's like,
Yeah. That's worst case scenario. I don't really feel that myself, but that is a scary concept at
I,
the same time. Yeah, for sure.
I'm still like, I don't know how many years you've had in your service, but I'm still fairly new in mine. I would say I'm only like 3 years in, but I still feel like I'm just like,
I know the labor laws are kind of crazy over there, but like for us, if you're in a business more than 12 months, they can't just fire you for no reason. They'd have to go through like, verbal warning, written warning, and get like, have a proper right cause for firing you. They can't just fire you because you're not busy enough, sort of thing. But I was actually let go of a job on my last day before I hit the 12 months, and they I was working for an Apple authorized reseller, so we don't have like an official Apple store in the Republic of Ireland because Apple say the market's not big enough. So they like have like authorized resellers, and they kind of do all their business through the resellers. And I worked for like the number one reseller at the time, and I was working in their repair center doing like warranty repairs for laptops and desktops and stuff like that. And when I was hired, I think there was like maybe 10 people on the team, and like we probably repaired like I probably repaired 100 laptops a week. Like it was crazy busy, but it was fun. It was good. It was good. It was good stuff. Like but then I think like the business wasn't as big as it was when I got hired, and they were like, oh, work's not as great. Like, it's not, we're not getting in as many repair jobs as possible, so we're gonna let you go because you were the last in. So it was a kind of last in, first out thing. But what pissed me off the most about it was like they fired me out of on a Monday, but they made me work the full day. Like they called me into the office at like 5 p.m. and told me like, and I was just like, could you not have fucking told me this at lunchtime and at least let me miss the traffic going home? I had to get a bus out of the city and everything. I was just fucking fuming. I was like, I repaired 10 laptops today. I was like, and you could like, work my ass off, had a really good day, and you're telling me that you're fucking firing me at like 2 minutes before I go home. Like, I was like, that's just
that's
so
fucked up.
shitty. Yeah, it was really fucked up. Um, I was only like 23 or something at the time. Like I was still pretty young. Like, so, I ended up like, I'd been working since I was like 16, never not had a job from when I could legally could. And I went on and signed on for like social welfare, and they were just like, "Oh yeah, oh so sorry to hear you lost your job. We'll have money for you tomorrow." And literally, like, I had money the next day. So they paid me like a redundancy, like of like 5 or 6 weeks pay, and I was getting paid like weekly for like 5 or 6 weeks off them, and then I was getting like social benefit on top. So like I was like 22, 23 years old, and I was never making more money than I'd ever made in my entire life. So I kind of had a good laugh about it, but at the same time, I was just like, "Oh fuck." I was just like, I'm just gonna take a few months off work now and just chill. And it happened around summertime as well. I was like, I'm gonna, it's like a back at school. Like, I'm just gonna, take the summer off and do nothing, like, and
Mhm.
DJ and just, be young and go out drinking all the time. So it actually turned out to be a good time, but it was a shock to say the least. I'd never been fired, and I haven't been fired since, but I'd never been fired before like that. And I suppose it wasn't like fired more so than like kind of last in, first out. I didn't do anything wrong. It was like they're there, them then deciding, we need to downsize, and we'll just go from, the standard last in, first out rule. Like, so yeah, sucked, but it is
Sick,
what it is.
but
And to be
yeah,
honest, what scares me the most when I think about it, like I was probably on minimum wage, and like if I actually really enjoyed the job, and I think if I didn't get fired, I could still be there, and that's like that thought actually scares me. Like, it's like would I be like like a retail manager or something, like working there, like making fucking 35 grand a year or something, just like like, and like not knowing any better, thinking that I'm doing really well. Oh, I'm in the management team now and all, like, but like it's like obviously like hindsight, like, it's like that was the best thing ever to happen to me because it led to me getting another job, which then led to me meeting my missus and start my family. And now I have like an even better job out of that again. Like, so it's just like it's funny to think like, butterfly effect and all, like, like one decision could, or like one thing that potentially happens a little different could change your entire life.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, I think about that sort of shit all the time, man. I broke my leg like really bad when I was like 14 years old, and I would always think to myself like, oh, like what kind of skateboarder would I have been if I never broke my leg, or like, like how different would my life be today if I didn't ever broke my leg? Because that changed the course of my entire life. Like, I truly believe that. Like, um, like I was off my feet for like 8 months. Like I fucked up like my second year in high school. Like, just the year was just destroyed. I couldn't play sport. I couldn't fucking skateboard. I couldn't do anything. So I just sat at home playing video games and like playing guitar and stuff. And just that was just the start of me just deteriorating and becoming less sporty and all this sort of stuff. Like, and obviously now, like years later, I got into the gym and all that sort of thing. But like, it was just if that never happened to me, like, I probably would have become quite a good skateboarder and stayed very active. Played more
Hmm.
sport and stuff. I just couldn't do it. Like, my leg was fucked. But yeah.
That's what
Anyway,
happens. I mean, like if
yeah,
you think about, like I know we'll move on in a sec, but
yeah,
just thinking about it, Gordon Ramsay had the same situation, wasn't he? Like a football player.
yeah. I think until he was maybe 23 or something like that, I think he played professional football. And then yeah, I think he had a bad injury, and then he became a chef, and like, he's one of the best chefs in the world. Like, so yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, dude. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everything happens for a reason, as they say. But yeah, it's funny to think like multiverse and what ifs and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, there's a different version of me out there that like that never happened to, and I'm a completely different person to what I am now. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy. I think about that shit all, like, with so many kind of like pivotal points in my life. Like, I think about that stuff. I was only talking about. I don't know if I mentioned it to you before, but like I nearly drowned when I was in America for the first time. Like, we were out on like jet skis on Tahoe Lake, and I like went off the jet ski at like 50 miles an hour and landed on my head. Did I ever tell you the story?
No.
Yeah, like I literally, it was like we went on over to the west coast to visit my friend. Like, this was like 11 years ago or something, and it was our first time like in America properly. Like, it was my first time in America as an adult, and it was me and two of my friends. We went over and we met up with my friend who lives in Cali, and we did a road trip and stuff like that. And we ended up in Tahoe one of the days, and we rented jet skis out on the lake, and we were like flying around having fun, and literally I went to like make a kind of sharp turn, but I didn't even turn that much. But I don't know if you've ever been on a jet ski before, but if you like make a turn on a jet ski and you're going kind of fast, they can just like abruptly turn. So they'll just like make a sharp turn to the left. And this, like, the jet ski, like, literally, like, just jolted to the left. So much so to the fact where I wish I could watch it back, like, as a third person, like, like, and see it. Cause, like, just from my memory, like, I was literally like flying along, and then I went to kind of turn, but I was going too fast, and just jet ski disappeared from under me, like, and I was in midair, just like flying. And like I obviously went so high and so far that I had time in my head to think, uh-oh, I'm gonna land on my head. I'm upside down. Oh shit, I'm about to hit the water. I better hold my breath. And then, like, I had time to hold my breath, hit the water. And like, because I'd never swam in fresh water before, and like I started to sink and stuff, and like just by chance one of my other friends like turned around and saw that I like my jet ski, like, I was off it, like, and he came flying back. And if he wasn't
Hmm.
there, like, I was struggling to try and like tread water, and like I was wearing a life jacket now, so I was just like, oh, maybe if I just like rest, the life jacket will like work, kick in, and I'll float to the top. And I just like started sinking further, so I started panicking a little bit, got to the top, and I saw him there, so I grabbed onto his jet ski. But like, man, like, I always think like, 30 seconds more, where if he didn't turn around and see that I wasn't there, like, I'd be dead, like,
Yeah, that'd have been it.
yeah, game over, man. Would have died at the age of 24 or something, like, it would have been crazy. So yeah, fuck, man. Scary, scary stuff. But
Well,
yeah,
I'm
I always
glad you're
think,
here.
thank you, man. I have too. But yeah, I remember the first thing I thought was, oh god, my mom would have been so pissed off with me if I like died on day 3 of the holiday over here. That
I
was
don't
like
know
the
if she'd
first thing
be
I thought.
pissed.
She would definitely. um, but yeah, like, fuck, I'm always thinking like butterfly effect shit and all, like, and just kind of different paths that could be out there. Like, it's crazy. Um,
Hmm.
to kind of jump into some just some stuff because we're live like 10 minutes. Did you watch any Ironheart? Have you seen any of it? Have you seen all
Yeah,
of it?
I just finished the third episode.
Nice, nice. I watched episode 1 on my lunch break today, and then I watched the second episode when I finished work, and then after I put the kids to bed, I watched the last one there. So I'm all caught up as well. So yeah, let's just kick into Ironheart, and then I have a few other little bits that we could talk about afterwards. There's also a final trailer for Fantastic Four, which I haven't watched yet, and I thought we could do a little bit of a blind reaction to it if you haven't seen it as well. That could be
Yeah.
could be a fun clip for the channel as well. Ironheart, give me the out of 10. Usually I would say round table back in the day when there was more of us here, but what did you think?
I mean, like out of 10 already, like it's just the first 3 episodes, right? Like it's
Well, it's half the season.
God, okay. I mean, so far, like I kind of give it like maybe 6.5, maybe even a 7. I give it like I think it's pretty good. I think I don't think it's really like in a bad situation. I give it like maybe a good 7. I think what's going on in the show is kind of interesting. It is kind of, if you were to shut your brain off on like what you know about the hood and
I know nothing about the hood, so I'm like kind of watching it at day one. Like I'm a day one for the hood. Like I know nothing.
yeah, so like in terms of the hood, like if you don't know anything about him, if you don't know anything about Ironheart, this looks like just a regular kind of scheduled, setup of a new character and new villain. And I think it works pretty well. I think the actor who plays the hood, I think he was one of the people that was in Hamilton.
I never watched it.
I think it was like a live op like theater kind of play. And I remember watching it. Like Hamilton's really good. I highly recommend it. It's got good music. It's a good musical basically. And essentially the guy who's playing him, I think he's doing a pretty good job. I think I think he's, because he's had quite a bit of acting like in both theater and maybe in a couple like side films. He's kind of doing a pretty good job. Like I'm interested in the character. Although like I find it interesting that they've changed the dynamic of like what he's going through. Considering like he's, having this weird like growth or mutation that's on his body, and it sounds like his friend was like trying to get rid of it.
I think he was covering it with the tattoos and stuff. I think, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like, that's one of the aspects I think is kind of cool of the show as well. I presume it's because he's using the hood and like Mephisto's magic, and I presume it's corrupting him or whatever, or draining his life, or I would say, again, I know I have never read a comic with Mephisto in it. I just kind of know what I know, just from other people talking about stuff and seeing like videos and clips and stuff. So I know I haven't read anything myself, and this is kind of the first kind of hint of Mephisto that we're actually getting in the MCU. But I'm gonna guess that Mephisto has probably lied about like the powers and what they do, and him using the hood is probably killing him, or draining his soul or something like that. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's like an ulterior motive for Mephisto himself. Um, I suppose we'll see more when we see the final episodes, but I do like the concept. He's using dark magic, and his body's paying a price. I think that's cool.
And I guess if you were to go by the comics scene of it, I can't like don't quote me verbatim or anything, but like from what I remember, it's basically this guy who runs into like, I guess it's either a demon or something, and basically the demon has a cloak and some boots. And I think they sans the boots in this show, which I think is kind of interesting. So the boots I think give you flight or levitation, if I remember, and the cloak gives you invisibility. Yeah. So what happens is I think he either kills the demon or he steals the stuff from him, and eventually like gets caught, I think, between either some thugs or police officers. And he I think it's thugs, because they're asking to take his boots. And so he throws him his original ones and puts on like the demon boots, and then puts on the cloak, and he finds out that, oh shit, I can get away really fast and I can go invisible. So then he turns to a life of crime, basically sets up a syndicate and whatnot. And there's like all this different shit. He like contacts almost everyone. And the reason why I'm kind of streamlining this so quickly is because ultimately the reason why, in my opinion, that they're putting the Hood into this situation with Ironheart, which in the comics they never interact, from what I can tell,
Yeah.
is because we don't have Iron Man. Because in the comics, the Hood is actually interacting with Iron Man at one point.
Okay.
So it's it's this whole situation of we don't have the main guy, so what do?
Yeah.
We have
That
to we
makes
have
that
to
makes a little that makes a little more sense to me, why he's in this show then. If it's just, Iron Man's dead, so let's use like an Iron Man substitute. Because that's what she
right.
is. Like let's be real.
Right. Actually, I mean, it's not so much a substitute. You could say the same thing for any characters. Like, all characters made afterwards from the original can be considered like a duplicate, but
Yeah, I
they
would
make
say
them
that.
they make their own thing, to be honest. Like, some people prefer Miles over Peter. So
Yeah.
like, I think Miles is a great character. I think they've been really portraying him well in the, across the Spider-Verse, beyond, like, into the Spider-Verse, across the Spider-Verse. I think it's done really well. I think it gives a good character for the diverse communities to like latch on to. I think when they did Black Panther, they did the same thing. It gives like this like cultural change that we need, because like over time it's like, well, we need new characters, and of course it's not always going to be a 23 or 33-year-old white male that somehow gets powers either through mutation or like some other means, which that's what the whole point of, like, Miss Marvel, Ironheart, all these different characters kind of portrays. And I think it's done really well in the comics, and I think in terms of MCU, it's been kind of like, it's a little rickety. I think Miss Marvel could have been a little better, but I think Riri Williams, like, playing Ironheart, I think it's kind of a fun concept. Although I really wish it still had Tony so that we can have the proper interaction like we did in the comics. But
Yeah.
that's just my brain going, I really wish that we could kind of follow what the comics did. But I know that because this is the MCU, I have to kind of take it with a grain of salt and just go, this is what they're trying to do. This is how they're trying to set it up, and this is how I'm going to accept it.
Yeah. Yeah. I suppose we kind of had the mentoring thing with Peter and Tony. So even if he did the mentoring thing again, it would feel like a kind of regurgitation nearly, I suppose. Like, because it's like we've
But
already kind of done this.
but that's fine. Like, Fury
Yeah.
has trained like tons of people. Like, Hawkeye has trained tons of people. All the main characters, all the main Avengers have trained tons of people. Like, it's not like it's not a redundant thing. It's a repeat process, because those characters have been there for like decades. Essentially, they've done it all. They've experienced so many things that the younger generations haven't, and that's the whole idea, is like teaching the younger generation how to step up and actually be like, take responsibility for all the things that they do. And like, you see with Spider-Man, even though he has the term, with great power comes great responsibility, like, it's still in his head of like, I don't know what I can do to make things right. And every time, like, if you see it in the comics, if you see it in the shows, if you see it in live action, it's always Peter fucks up, and then the older generation goes, here's why you fucked up. And it's such a good formula, in my opinion, because it helps like teach, it teaches like the younger generation, like, you should really try to at least get knowledge and information from the older. And so, kind of going back to Ironheart, we don't have that right now. So it's kind of like, I feel like it's missing that flavor, and the only thing
Yeah.
they have is the Hood. But it also shows that with the Hood taking over as kind of like, not the mentor, but someone to create influence upon Riri, it's creating this whole situation of like, you're doing bad shit right now, girl. Like, you need to get out of this. And she realizes that, like, in the third episode, she's like, oh shit, I just killed someone. I just
Yeah.
like, and it's horrible. Like, she's supposed to be a hero, and she just killed someone. And it's like, what the hell? Like, Peter, I think I don't remember how often Peter has actually killed anybody, but I think he killed one person at some point. And he realizes, like, holy shit, I can't do this. Like, this is horrible. It's just
Yeah,
something that you just don't do as a hero, and I like that. I like seeing that in this, and I also like. I think Natalie, although she's a little bit annoying here and there, I kind of like her. Um, it's it like it starts to kind of feed off of like, okay, I'm kind of getting used to her, and then I'm like, okay, she's actually kind of like this other voice and almost like the sentient AI, which is so good. Like it just feels comfortable, and I like that it interacted with her mom, and it's like
yeah.
it's Natalie,
It's
and
yeah,
she was just
strange. Like it's like
like,
because I feel like they're trying to insinuate like oh no AI is kind of you know dangerous and I kind of get the feeling that she's like how do you know this, like how are you doing this, how are you doing that, like it's kind of out of her control. And I kind of feel like that's like are they kind of trying to say like this is a real risk with AI. But then she's always like it feels like she's kind of cautious about it, and then she's like, oh okay, whatever, like she doesn't really like she's not following through with her thoughts, like but I would be very scared, like like 'cause she's talked about like feelings and memories and obviously like stuff that is not has not been programmed into her at all, like she's kind of self-learning and stuff, which is like terrifying. But it's a cool concept, like could she develop it for somebody else, like and I know, I suppose the reason like it scans her brain, so it's her memories that are helping develop the AI. So I was thinking like, oh, like Jesus, she could recreate Tony, like, or whatever, like with this technology. But I suppose she needs the memories and stuff like that. Like that data's not there. Like the brain scan is an important part. But could you give this to like Pepper, and like Pepper scans Tony and then like recreates Tony, and then we have like an AI version of Tony like that.
well, we
But then
that happens in the comics. We do get an AI
yeah,
version of Tony. He places himself within the network and puts himself as an AI.
yeah.
So it like moves his consciousness into like the AI network, which is
You,
which is
do you
like
think
that's
do you
exactly
think
what could happen.
do you think Downey would do that though?
No.
Yeah,
I think at the very least, like not physically, but I think he would do it vocally.
I think they could just they could use actual AI to just do an AI voice of him, or get someone that just sounds like him. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't think he would do that. But yeah, that was something that entered my mind. I was like, yeah, that'd be like something that'd be like, again, if it was like real world shit, I'd be like, yeah, really, you just developed this crazy AI. Let's recreate Tony. Let's bring him
Well,
back.
well, and I can't remember. Like she doesn't know how she essentially set that up, right? Like it just
Yeah,
kind of happened.
she kind, I don't know if she was like, again, and not to throw shade on the show, like, but there were a few times during during my watching of it where I kind of like tuned out for a minute. So like I kind of missed, like I saw her like kind of putting the stuff together and plugging in the AI bits and then like plugging it to her brain, and then she falls asleep. But I don't know, was the plan to actually on purpose take a scan of her brain to put it into the AI, or did that just happen by mistake?
I think it was like a combination of because if you notice in some cases like the lights are going out and coming back, and I think like maybe the manipulation of electricity like maybe caused a spark within the AI, and maybe that's what kind of generated the whole situation. I don't know if she understands it fully yet, but it sounds like she's starting to kind of get used to the idea like, okay, well, this person's here, maybe I can figure them out later, but for now I think I'm just happy that they're, it's just something from my consciousness that's being pulled forward to kind of give me the comfort, as
Yeah,
opposed to like just some regular AI that we get. Because like honestly, we can't have Jarvis. Jarvis is not gone, but like we don't have Peter to control Jarvis anymore. We don't know what Pepper's up to, so like we're not really gonna get that back. So I think it'll be kind of cool. Like we also didn't we have Friday? I think that's what someone that was
Friday
Friday
was
only.
Tony's like last AI was Friday.
Yeah,
And
I liked Friday.
Jarvis obviously became Vision, and
Right. Yes.
Edith is the one with that Peter had with the glasses. That's Edith.
Right.
Yeah, so
So then,
Edith, obviously Peter's lost Edith, so that's just, is that going to pop up somewhere? Is that going to be, or is that just gone? Is it in the abyss? Like I don't know. Time will tell. Maybe when the spell breaks and everyone remembers who Peter is again, maybe Edith will come back to him or something. I'm not sure.
mhm.
Um, I kind of feel like with the way like a lot of these things are going, like I kind of feel like we're asking questions that we might never get answers to. Um, and like I think the way that these shows are going to be being pumped out going forward, like I believe Bob Iger has said that the next round of Disney shows will have nothing to do with the movies, and they're going to kind of go off on a Agents of Shield kind of vibe where it's going to be like loosely connected to the MCU, but not at all. I think they've realized that like shit. people are going to see movies and they haven't watched the TV shows and they're kind of pissed off now because it's like, who the fuck is John Walker? Why is Sam Wilson Captain America? Like, like there's a disconnect and they don't want that. So I think going forward, I think what they're going to probably do is maybe bring some of like the key elements of Disney Plus, like Loki, like, the events of Hawkeye, probably because, we know Kate Bishop is going to be having a bigger role in the MCU. But like, I think smaller things like this is a prime example of something that, like, I think everything that happens on this show will be kind of irrelevant unless they decide to make a season 2 or bring her into like a different team, like a Young Avengers on the small screen or something. I kind of think that everything we're watching is kind of irrelevant, which is kind of sad. But because again, we're here for the connective tissue. That's why we became fans of this franchise in the first place. You know what I mean? Like, people are still watching the MCU nearly 20 years later because of connective tissue, in my opinion. And it's kind of a tough place that we're in right now because, like, again, we're getting this stuff, but it's going to be all irrelevant, I think. Like, one of the talking points I had for after we finished this, which is just kind of naturally flowing into this now, but Punisher is officially confirmed for Spider-Man 4. And that's kind of, apart from Daredevil kind of making a very small appearance in Spider-Man 3, it's going to be the first time that we have an actual TV star going to the big screen. So, obviously Iger is saying that the TV shows, sorry, I have an itchy nose. The TV shows are going to like disconnect, but obviously I think they're going to maybe take like the bigger characters and bring them to the big screen before they disconnect it, I would say. Yeah. We've go on, sorry.
I was going to say, speaking of a Punisher though, like did you know that Rampage has a connection to Punisher?
That's cool.
Yeah.
What do you make of was it Eric Andre playing him?
Oh, it was fine, but I knew that it was a one and done kind of situation.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
I mean, they really could have done so much more with it. They essentially, like with Rampage, he was kind of like actually a side, like kind of maybe like a sidekick to Punisher, essentially, like following him. Yeah, essentially, but no. Well, actually, he has his own power armor.
Okay.
So he has his own suit. He has his own power armor. He has his own powers, but he's like highly intelligent and like. But after a while, like it turns out that Frank actually killed like his girlfriend, who was like also part of a crime syndicate or something, and so then he vows to essentially like want to take down Frank. And so like that's why he kind of turns to his life of crime, joins up with Hood and his syndicate, and like basically that's where that goes around. But I think he's still technically alive in the comics.
Okay.
But when I looked at his mug and like I don't understand it, man, and I don't like I'm pretty sure you've seen those pictures as well, like the whole like what's the term, blackification of the ginger character. I think that's what they call it. So it's like Rampage again in the comics.
He's
like white and ginger. Turn into a black man.
My poor Irish brethrens are being replaced.
It's so weird.
We should have outrage about this, but I suppose because we're white, we're not allowed. But yeah, it's weird. It is weird, man. Like, it's been happening for years. And like, I think you can Google it and find like someone's put a screenshot of like all the characters that have been ginger that have changed to black. It is kind of weird. I don't care, but it's a trend and it's something that needs to be recognized.
Yeah, like you can replace them with whatever. Like you can do whatever you want to replace them. But it's like
it's always the ginger.
Why do you keep doing it this way? What are you trying to say? What's going on here?
Do they not photograph well? Like, do they not show up well on camera? Like, what the hell is going on?
It's the oddest thing.
It's weird. I agree. Andre says that they lost the power of the TV shows with She-Hulk. Yeah, probably. I think that was kind of a lot of people's exit point from Disney Plus was probably that show. Rightfully so. The show was awful. And I think, when I think back on the shows in their entirety, like I remember enjoying a couple of episodes of WandaVision. WandaVision is the reason why the podcast began. Like the buzz around WandaVision was so high that's why we started this podcast, just to talk about it, break stuff down and kind of geek out about it. But so like that was a great time. But I remember at the time, like the shows weren't as good, obviously, as the movies and everything we'd seen up to that point. But compared to where we are now, if you go back and rewatch like Falcon and the Winter Soldier or like season one of Loki or any of that stuff, like it's far superior to what we're getting now. Like it's kind of funny, isn't it? Like we review and we view things in levels. I find, like obviously, like when you're at the peak, when you're at like Infinity War, Endgame, like all these like blockbusters and everything's running so fucking smooth and it's beautiful. Obviously, you think like when you watch WandaVision, you're like, oh, this is fucking bullshit. Oh my god, it's terrible or whatever. Like and you're like, this isn't the MCU. This is shit. And then obviously, you go through 2 or 3 years of like actual bad stuff coming out, and then you go back and you rewatch something like WandaVision, or you rewatch Falcon and the Winter Soldier or Loki season one, and then you're like, oh wow, okay, actually that was maybe I was a little too. It's like that that Thanos meme. It's like maybe I treated you too harshly, but that's what it's like. It's like wow, like we're actually seeing some really bad stuff now. So it's like you kind of cut slack for some of the stuff that came before.
Mhm.
I need to rewatch like some of the stuff like Moon Knight and stuff. I think I might enjoy better the second time around, and like more so as a binge than a week by week. I think it'll flow better. But yeah, like 100%. Like I think some of these shows have been really fucking bad, and then some of them are kind of maybe not as bad as like I think this show you gave it a 7. I would probably right now give it a 6. I think some of the story is a bit ridiculous. I don't like some of the acting in it. The CGI is pretty good. And I like Cody. I think he's a good actor. But Riri in parts is good, and then some parts she's like really corny, and the dialogue doesn't work. And I'm a real stickler for like music and stuff like that in shows. Like I'm big into all that sort of thing. And like the first time she puts the suit on, like I'm watching it on surround sound, and like the music is way too loud. And again, I love dance music, but like it just didn't fit. It didn't feel like it felt weird. Like it's kind of I don't know what it is. Like I view things because I used to kind of make music as well. So I kind of view things in patterns, like, and I can kind of hear when something doesn't work. And to me, that felt just out of time. It didn't, it wasn't working properly, and like, even when like she starts this, there was a couple of last dialogue scenes before she jumped into the suit, and you couldn't hear her properly because the music was too loud and stuff. And I'm just like, this is
So
just,
fucking
yeah.
loud.
I'm like, bro, this is just like awful, and like, again, like Ryan Coogler obviously has nothing to do with this show, but they're like plastering his name all over it as an executive producer. If you know how Hollywood works, like executive producers don't actually do anything. Like they're not involved in the actual making of the show. Like they might be sent some stuff and, hey, Ryan, what do you think? Are we on the right track? Like, and you might just say, yeah, that seems pretty cool or whatever. Like it's just kind of, let's flaunt his name on it and just like it's not a real role, like so. But I definitely feel like he didn't have any kind of creative control over this, because like there is a massive kind of, I think anyway, there's a massive difference in quality from this to like Black Panther 1, for example. you know
Right.
Even like I think they put a Skrillex song in it in episode 3, and it was really cool. It was very well mixed, and it worked. It was really good. Like that was a time where the music was good. Like I could hear it's the track Rumble from Skrillex, and I know
Mhm.
the kind of the bass kind of shutter that he does in that song, and it's like, and I could hear that kind of coming in low, and I was like, is that Skrillex? I was like, that sounds like Skrillex. And then like obviously they broke it, but whoever mixed it, fair play to them. The editor was fantastic. Like it was really well mixed for that show. But then there's times where, like I think it was the whole first episode, the music was terrible. Like it was really bad.
Yeah, it was very odd. I don't know what they were trying to do with all that, but like it wasn't working for
Yeah.
me either.
And I'm a massive hip hop fan. Like my missus will sit and watch stuff with me, and like she's not into hip hop music at all. So if there's something that's like very kind of hip hop like related, like she didn't really like Luke Cage, whereas I was loving all the music and everything, and like loving the whole vibe of that
Mhm.
show. Just because I love like rap music and stuff. But for her, like she was just like, oh, this is shit I don't like listening to. And I understand, that's fine. Like, everyone has their tastes and their preferences. Um,
Mhm.
and like I love dance music, I love hip hop, I love everything. So like when like songs get played and stuff, usually as long as it fits, I'm loving life. Like I'm like, oh, this song's great. I'm trying to find out what the name of the song is and everything. But in episode 1 of this, like the dance music was like, it was just too loud. It just didn't fit the scene at all. And then like I think there was one scene where they're like, they were looking up and they're like, "Hey, what's that?" And they can see Ironheart flies through the sky, and it's like the music was playing from inside the suit, and she was like pumping the music and stuff. I don't know, man. It seemed real corny to me. I don't know. I don't know if they were trying to be funny by doing that or something, or if it just didn't hit for me. I just thought, no, that doesn't work for me at all. Like, um, and as well, like when she like crashes down onto the ground and like the ground says Ironheart and stuff. I'm like, I'm kind of torn, like between like, okay, that's obviously like a reference to like a comic panel, and that's cool. I like that, but at the same time, I'm going like, that's kind of stupid too. I don't know what it is. Like, it's it's like it's cool, but it's stupid. And then I like the way I think it was the start of episode 3 where they're shooting the money around and partying and everything, and then like Ironheart's written in money and stuff. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. Obviously, if we were reading a comic book, that'd be like one of the first intro panels to the comic would just be like, Ironheart, like the Flash always does it, and it is what it is. But I don't know. It feel. I'm gonna sound like an idiot, but it feels a little out of place because it's like it's not real. Like it's not real. If that makes sense. Like,
Mhm.
I know we're talking about comic book stuff and flying fucking metal, suits of armor, but you know what I mean when I'm saying this. Like, I probably sound ridiculous, but
Well, I would say like it's just like I know things like this can get corny, but I do like the comic aspect of it, of like, having little tidbits here and there. I think ultimately though, maybe they are gearing up for the last episode. Maybe we'll have like an official title name design for the characters, like, title moniker. Because maybe
does she refer to herself as Ironheart? Like, has she given herself that handle yet? Because I
no,
think
I think there's
in the first episode they're like, "Hey, what do we call you? Are you Iron Girl, Iron Lady, or something?" And she doesn't really say. She never says Ironheart, right?
yeah, not right now, as far as I can tell, and maybe they're working on like setting that up, which to me is like it's such a to me it's such a punch in the nuts, because it's like stop trying to just jerk it around like we don't know what the fuck her name is already. Like if you're trying to create an origin namesake, like that's one thing, but if you're just putting her name out as like, oh, Riri, it's like we're kind of losing the luster on this. Like we need to know the hero's name. It's like when we hear Iron Man, we know Iron Man, and we know Tony Stark, we know the two are together. Like if we just hear, like it reminds me of She-Hulk. Like every time they called her Jennifer, Jen, like not She-Hulk, none of the, like nothing. But that's fine. Like I guess in terms of that, but I don't know. I get so irked when they don't try to put the hero name.
I know what you're trying to say, and I think the reason why I don't like it is because it just feels like it's the same formula washed every single time. Like all these I think someone said it around the time of what show was it? I don't know if it was Loki or something, but someone had said, "Are all these shows just like a 6-parter episode just to show us how these characters get new costumes?" Because that's what it felt like. It's like we got like Wanda becoming the Scarlet Witch, we got Loki obviously becoming Loki, and and Cap becoming, or like Falcon becoming Cap, and it just felt like these were kind of like side quests that we kind of needed to see just to get the character to become who they're meant to be or something. And I kind of feel
Well,
like, yeah, we're even though we're kind of obviously experiencing a bit of a different story with this one, at the same time, she's still battling her identity, trying to find out who she is. And in the last episode, like you say, we're gonna have a big like, I am Ironheart or something, like, it's gonna be something stupid like that. And it's gonna feel like, okay, we are really in the same thing, of just, this is, let's give Riri a new suit, and that's going to be like kind of the main story of just her getting a new suit and a handle, like.
Yeah, and Andre, like I know you say it's called Hidden Identity. Like if it was called Hidden Identity, why the fuck is it not so hidden? If we're just going by their actual names. Like if you were to think about it this way, like anytime you see these characters like interact with other people, like it's just they always know it's Riri. They always know it's Riri. And she's fucking flying around. She in the neighborhood was in the armor suit, all broken up, not even trying to hide it.
Carried it around with her face out and everything.
So the next time they see that like a mech suit or anything, they're gonna be like, "Oh, there's fucking Riri."
Yeah.
Like it's so like
Yeah, I presume the little young like black girl from the hood here is like the girl that got the scholarship to go to the Tony Stark fucking thing in MIT. Like, and now she's back. And guess what? There's a flying suit around Chicago now. It's like, I wonder
Holy
who it could
shit.
be. Yeah.
You get a few people that are like, holy shit, who is that
Whoa,
person?
Iron Man's back. It's so fucking stupid, bro. It's so stupid. Like, I'm seeing a lot of like hate online. Obviously, we're gonna see a lot of hate, but like some of the comments I'm reading, some of them are like, okay, like I understand. It's like I'm finding it hard to believe that just this random girl who's, is it. She hasn't spent years developing stuff and honing her skills, and now she can just create an AI overnight and completely rebuild a suit that MIT has like stripped off her in like 6 hours to go out on her first mission and stuff. And it's like, you know, like
Well,
I could
she
I actually Googled it and I was like, is in the comics, is Riri actually smarter than Tony Stark? Because I know that they're really trying to push that in the show. It's like they've mentioned it a few times of how she's better than Tony and all this stuff. And it's like I wanted to find out because I don't read these comics. So I was like,
did
in the comics, is she actually smarter? And like, AI came back with an answer and said, like, it's kind of insinuated sometimes that she might be better than Tony in different ways of how she handles situations and stuff like that. But like, let's just take comics out of it, right? Like, and one of the things that kind of annoys me a little bit about the show is like that they are trying to like make it out that she is smarter than Tony, because it's kind of, it annoys me in a way because it's like, Tony obviously created time travel in the MCU. Like, like he is like the smartest human on earth. Like, like that's what we've been led to believe over the last 20 years. And it's like this young girl's coming in now, like no tech, no training, no nothing. And it's like she's just better than him off the jump. Like, and that kind of annoys me. Like, and I think, like you said earlier, if the mentoring piece was in it, we might be able to kind of accept that a bit better. There's always that kind of like moment when, the master's training the apprentice and then the apprentice takes over, and there's kind of the, the tip of the hat or the passing of the throne or the you know, the the mantle, like whatever you want to call it, like, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of the way it usually goes. But I kind of hate when someone's already gone and like, they're trying to insinuate straight away that she's just like, I'm going to be better. I'm making better. I'm going to make a better suit. I'm going to make better AI. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be better than Tony in every way. Like, it's like, calm down a
well
bit.
it well like I'm okay with that in some cases, but like as far as like shows go, as far as everything goes, the way you set up your characters to actually be the smarter or better than other characters is you don't make them say that they are going to
I
be better.
I hate that shit, man. That
Like
drives me crazy.
it
I
is
really dislike it.
right, and it's such a like moment where and if you see in most comics, if you see like in comics, in manga, in shows, in anime, it's always the loudest motherfucker in the room that is the weakest.
Yeah.
And so I don't need you to have this attitude of I'm going to be better, because you're not going to be better until you learn to shut the fuck up and just do it. Like
Yeah.
I could tell you all day, oh, Finto, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go to the gym. Like you go like about a
Do it,
week or two,
motherfucker.
like, yeah, like
Yeah.
you go to the gym every day. You go to the gym, you don't see me, and you're like, he said he was going to go to the gym. You know
How's
what I
that
mean?
cheating on?
Like yeah, you're doing it. I'm not, because I'm just saying it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
It's
know what you mean.
it's it's so fucking weird.
Yeah, it's one of the, like, again, I probably give it a 6, and the reason is like things like that I just don't like, and some of it just kind of defies belief. Like the fact that, she falls out of the sky, MIT claim the suit back, and it's in pieces on the ground, it's broken up, half of it doesn't work at all, and you know Hood's like to her, "Are you ready to go tomorrow for the mission?" And she's like, "Oh, I'll be ready." And I was like, "Is she lying?" I'm like, "Is she gonna, you know, pull a sickie? Like, she's not. She can't have a suit built overnight, surely, right?" And then she just goes back to her mom's apartment, and she's got like chains hanging out of the roof and the suit hanging there, and she's like in the kitchen, just magically making all this like insane tech. Like, out of what? Like, it's, it's just
You know
it. Oh, bro,
you
I don't.
you know what Finto, you know what Tony Stark
Yeah,
built
build
that
a box of
built
scraps in a cave. I know,
yep,
I know. Yeah, I know.
Yep.
But he didn't do it in 6 hours, and, he had help as well. He had, like, a scientist with him too. It wasn't just Tony, you know what I mean? So
So
it's
maybe she is just smart.
yeah, she's so much better than Tony.
She's
But,
so
like,
much better.
she's so much better. But, yeah, I don't know, man. It just shit like that just kinda gets to me. Again, I'm the show is better than I thought it was gonna be. I'm not gonna sit here talking too much shit, but
Hmm.
that was one thing I didn't like. I kinda liked the dude Joe or whatever his name is, and we find out that he's Obadiah Stane's son. Again, I wasn't shocked by this reveal at all. I don't know about you, but maybe you might have known who the character was. I didn't know who he was gonna be, but at the same time, when he was like in the bunker, he's like, "Oh, I keep the stuff here to remind myself of my dad." I was like, "Is he gonna be like Justin Hammer's son or something like that?" I thought like my brain went there straight away. So when I heard like the Obadiah Stane drop, I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, of course, yeah, yeah, that makes sense."
I mean, it would have been funny if it was Justin Hammer, because in my head, I'm like, really? That guy? Like, it's kind of a
Hammer's
little
dad.
too nerdy.
I like Hammer. But yeah, no,
Hammer's great.
again, a flashback to Iron Man 1 is kind of cool. Obviously, a connection to the first movie is kind of cool. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Again, does this all go anywhere? Is like the big question. Like, this show was filmed in like late 2022. I believe it was like a completed product just sitting on a shelf for 2 years. It's like this. I find it hard. I would find it hard to believe if the events of the show are on the roadmap for the MCU right now. I doubt it. Like,
Hmm.
and like honestly, again, like I watched the first episode. My missus, she did not like it at all. She's like, continue the show without me. I'm not going to watch it. Like I was like, yeah, fair enough. And
Go
I don't.
on
I
without me.
yeah, I almost prefer it that way because then I can watch them on my own speed. So if I'm on my lunch break and work or something, I can throw an episode on. I don't have to wait for her, and I'll get them done quicker and easier by myself.
Hmm.
So I don't really mind it. And again, I'm not going to make her sit and watch this with me if she's not enjoying it. Like so it's fine. But yeah, like it's just I'm sitting here watching it going like, yeah, this show is technically like 2 or 3 years old. It's from that time when Marvel were in that headspace where they were like, we can do whatever the fuck we want and we'll make money. Like they were developing this after Endgame where they were like, let's
Hmm.
just throw all these ideas up and anything will work. If they're all $1 billion ideas, we can't lose. And then obviously since then we now know it's like fucking shitstorm after shitstorm. Yeah. Griff says,
Unfortunate,
I'm
man.
from Chicago. I'm geeking out a bit over some of the locations. That's fucking cool, man. Yeah, I love that shit. And like again, I'm from Ireland. The MCU, I don't even think the MCU has ever been in Ireland. I think maybe there's been a reference to it somewhere, but they've never obviously shot on location here or anything. But even when they did a lot of the shooting in like London and stuff, like Spider-Man 2 was shot all around Europe, and I've been to most of those locations. Like so, yeah, same thing. I know the feeling. You're like, oh shit, that's so cool. I've been there, and like you see like Peter in London and stuff, and obviously Tom Holland is from London, so I was always kind of like, oh, I'm so happy for him as an actor that he gets to be Spider-Man in his own city. Like, how cool is that? So
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, it's cool. I love that sort of shit. Like when people get to kind of connect to the real world with it a bit as well. Like obviously we know it's comic book shit; it's not real, but it's cool when it is set in the real world and has that
Well,
kind of tint of realism a bit.
right. Well, I would say like that's why I like Marvel Comics the most out of the two, because they actually use real areas. And then they, if they have to, they'll create islands or different areas that are like faux. But for the most part, like you're in Manhattan, you're in Hell's Kitchen, you're in the Bronx, you're in New York, you're in San Francisco, you're in like you're in
DC
LA,
do have
like you're
DC do have them as well, but not. There are kind of made up places that are the predominant places. I do agree with you there, but like like Seattle is in DC, and like um fucking San Francisco, and even I read a Batman comic and he was in Dublin. Like Batman was in Dublin and he was in Ireland, and there's been like stories in Belfast and stuff like that, and so like if anything, DC for me is more real because they've actually been in my country, whereas Marvel, as far as I know, haven't. But I'm curious. I'm gonna see this after. I'm gonna do a bit of research after and see if there's any Marvel
I bet
comics
you
that
they've
take
been
place
there
in Ireland.
30 more times than Batman.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
probably. No, probably. You're probably right. You're probably right. Um,
I believe
yeah,
there's Irish superheroes as well from Marvel. Like,
yeah. I don't know. I'm sure there probably is, or people of Irish descent or whatever.
Yeah, Daredevil. Jesus.
Well, Daredevil, yeah, Matt Murdock is has Irish descent for sure.
There's literally a guy named Shamrock.
Of course there is. Of course there is.
Cap is Irish.
Cap is Irish too, yeah. Yeah, I remember hearing that. Go on, Captain Irish. Captain Ireland.
That's
Uh,
so cool.
Tulsa King films in Atlanta. I haven't watched Tulsa King. Is it worth it? I like a lot of Taylor Sheridan shows, so I probably would like it. I'm watching Lioness at the moment. Fucking fantastic. Really, really cool.
Katie and I were watching. I think we watched the first 2 episodes of Murderbot.
Oh yeah, that's like #1 in the Apple charts at the moment. I think. Is it good?
It's pretty fun so far. Like I like Alexander Skarsgård doing this kind of like
He's a great actor.
He's really good. Like, but the best thing about it though is like if you've watched True Blood, I can tell that like he's just taking that kind of character's like persona a little bit and just putting it here because he has to be kind of still faced because he's technically a robot.
Yeah.
So he's just like, I gotta pretend like I'm not actually trying to be human.
That's so funny. Dan says he refuses to watch it because he lives in the suburb of Tulsa. Let's go. Let's go. I like that. Yeah, like look, you know, to kind of cap off on Ironheart, but I am kind of in some way pleasantly surprised that I don't hate it as much as I thought I would. But it's not good. It's not bad, but it's not good either. You know, it's like all things said and done, it's a one and done. Like I won't watch it ever again. Griff says Miguel O'Hara. Oh well, O'Hara is a very Irish name, yeah. So he's obviously Irish mammy and Latin daddy or whatever.
Yeah, Irish and Mexican descent.
Irish daddy, I think, for the last name being O'Hara. I would say the dad is Irish. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I like him as well. He's cool. He's a cool character. It's cool that we have a Spider-Man that's Irish. Or vampire spider man thing from the future. It sounds so ridiculous when you say it. I kind of touched on it briefly, but one of the things I wanted to talk about was Punisher officially has been officially cast in Spider-Man 4, which is huge news for me. Love Bernthal as Punisher. Getting to see him on the big screen, it's going to be crazy. I'm absolutely loving the reaction from the fan base, like the amount of like hilarious, like proper laugh out loud memes I've seen. People just using clips from like The Sopranos and stuff, and just like Peter's reaction when he's trying to like take down Doc Ock or something. It's like, Mr. Frank Castle, what are we gonna do with this guy? And then it just cuts to him just like shooting his fucking head off or something, like, and it's like, oh my god, Mr. Castle, my web shooters are, my fluid's empty. What will we do? It's just him like taking out a big gun. It's like Peter's gonna
shoot him with this.
Yeah, Peter's gonna hate Punisher, man, because he doesn't like killing people. Like, it's going to be absolutely hilarious. So I can't wait to see the dynamic between the two of them. And I think it's hilarious from the aspect of like the two of them are working on that movie at the moment, with the new Christopher Nolan movie. So the two of them are on a movie right now at the moment, and they're gonna go and obviously work together again on Spider-Man, which I think is really cool. Like I love hearing shit like that. And they were working on a film which was actually shot in Ireland when they first met, and it was when both of them got cast in Marvel. So they helped each other with their original auditions for their Marvel characters. So they worked on this film, I think it was called Pilgrim, which was actually shot here in Ireland. And the two of them, he was auditioning for Castle, and Tom Holland was auditioning for Spider-Man. Saw an interview with John, and he was saying like, oh, I kind of told the kid, go into the audition and like do a fucking backflip. And he was like, do you not think that's crazy? And he's like, bro, you're probably going to be the only actor that goes to read for this role that can actually be Spider-Man. He's like, you should 100% do this shit. So he went into the room and like ran up the wall and did a backflip and, did all this shit. And that's probably what got him the role. Like, it's like, holy shit, this kid can actually do all the flips and shit, which I think is fucking epic, and the fact that like Bernthal gave him that idea, I think that I just love that, I think it's fantastic. So the two of them are obviously very pally and very friendly. And I think that's going to shine on the big screen. Like, I love when you see people that are just friends in real life or they have like a real connection. And I think it's why some of the MCU worked so well. Like, you look at like Evans and Hemsworth, and all these guys are really good friends in real life. And the chemistry is just there. It just flows so naturally for them that I would say a lot of what they do isn't actually acting. It's just them being them, you know?
Yeah, they're being good pals.
Yeah, yeah. Like Thor is, I'd say 70% just Hemsworth. You know what I mean? He just puts the wig on and gains a bit of muscle for the role. But I think he's just going in there and just being himself. Like, I really feel
Mhm.
that. I don't think he has to act too much. I'd say it's the easiest fucking paycheck in the world for him. Griff asks, any word on Frank's special? I think it's coming out next year, if I'm not mistaken. So like I think within a 12-month span, we're gonna have Frank 3 times. We're gonna have him in Daredevil season 2, his own special, and then Spider-Man 3 or Spider-Man 4, sorry, which is
Mm.
epic. That's really fucking cool. Love it. I love the fact that, like, again, Bernthal has like very vocally said, you know, I wasn't gonna come back and I wasn't gonna reprise the role unless it was done correctly. And the best scene in that entire show, like, of Daredevil Born Again, was all the Punisher scenes were just great. Like, that scene with the two of them talking to each other was powerful shit. And the last episode with the fight scene and stuff, like, was probably one of the better episodes as well. So I feel like Frank is, you know, firing off all cylinders. So
Yeah.
I wonder will Daredevil be in the movie as well? Like, I wonder, will it be street level New York? Punisher's like, you know, I got a guy who can help us out here. Another guy who dresses in red too. You know,
That'd be
I wonder.
nice.
Yeah, it'd be
I'd
cool.
really like that.
I think it'd be good too. Like, and I think, you know, I don't really know what the story of Spider-Man 4 is going to be yet. I haven't really heard any leaks on the plot or anything like that, but I'm gonna guess because he's alone and the spell's active, like, he's gonna be looking for any like friendship that he can get. I'm sure he's gonna be quite lonely. So if he, you know, gets into a spot of trouble with like a big enemy or something or whatever's going to happen, you know, if he's obviously he connects up with Punisher, it might be the case where, like, yeah, we need more help. Like, let's get as many people as you know, and you know, Frank doesn't really know too many people either, so it's going to be Daredevil's going to come in. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the three of them team up, which would be fucking sick. I've seen some really cool art going around on Twitter and stuff of the three of them together, like from panels and comics in the past, and it just manifest it. MCU, just give it to us. Give us what we want, please. It'd be so fucking sick. So sick. I heard a little whisper that the Blade movie is back in development, but like for a potential 2028 release, 3 years from now, which is shocking. I like to think positive that we'll still be here, kind of shooting the shit, and we'll be on episode 400 or whatever it'll be at that stage. But I like to think that we'll still be going. But imagine like 2028, bro.
That's
That's
fucking
scary to think, man.
ridiculous.
That's scary to
Yeah.
think. Yeah, that's a scary one. Like, my son will be like 15 years old nearly, I think, or something. I'll be taking him to see the movie probably. Oh, oh, oh God. Cinema trips are gonna be so expensive then. Oh Jesus. Like, we brought him to see the Minecraft movie, and to be fair, we bought him the popcorn bucket and stuff. So like, it was good. It was a bit more expensive than normal, but it was like a nearly 150 euro trip to the cinema, like, just for the three of us to go to the movie, get some food, and him to get his merch. It's 140 euros or something, which is like almost $150. I'm like, I can't be doing that with every Marvel movie that comes out, like, you know. I was like, I'll be fucking broke. Oh man. So yeah, I feel very bad for Mahershala Ali. I think he's taken the role very seriously. I think it's gone through like 3 directors already, like 2 full rewrites and loads of changes and cancellations and dropouts and everything like that. And I suppose it was announced in 2019, which is scary to think because that was like just after Endgame. Like, at the end of Phase 4, they announced Blade, and we haven't seen a tap of it. And if it does release in 2028, that's going to be 9 years after it was announced. Like, that's scary to think.
Hmm.
And, you know, obviously there was the bit of the jokes of Wesley Snipes, like, you know, I'm the only Blade, and, you know, I'll be the only Blade ever. Like, and I was kind of thinking for a bit, like, Jesus, maybe he knows something that we don't, or, you know, like, maybe it's been cancelled, maybe it's been shelved, like, maybe they do something with Wesley instead, or so. I don't even know. But apparently it's back on. So who knows? We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see a Blade in the MCU and Midnight Suns and darker rated R stuff. I think we talk about it all the time, but I think there's definitely like for fans like us and people who've grown up and watched the MCU for 20 years. I think you need to make content for those people. You know what I mean? Like if you have like Jesus 2028, man, the MCU will be 20 years old. Like Iron Man came out in 2008. So you have in American terms almost people like in 2029 the MCU will be 21 years old, like of legal drinking limit. Like, you know what I mean? Like anyone who's been watching since the start is a fucking official adult at that stage. So you got to make content for those people who've been in it since day one because they're all adults now, like no matter who they were. You know what I mean? So it's the fan base is growing or sorry, aging, should I say, not growing. And they need to facilitate that. You know what I mean? It's only fair. And I think that they are starting to do that. Because I think like it's kind of evident that when they make stuff like this show, like as good or as bad as Ironheart is, I think the ratings are going to be quite low for it. I think a lot of it's getting kind of review bombed online, which I never agree with. Always kind of watch something and make your mind up when it's all said and done. Like people are putting in like fucking 1-star reviews and it hasn't even like before it even aired they were putting it in. It's like you haven't seen the fucking show. Shut the fuck up, like I always have hated that. Give it a fair squeeze, and I'll always again I'm kind of giving you a review on the first 3 episodes, but like I will never go onto IMDb and leave an actual review on something until it's finished. That's only fair in my opinion. So I just feel like when it's all said and done, I think we might not even hear about what the streaming numbers are officially, and that's usually a bad sign as well. But because they're always ready to brag about the numbers if they're good, so if we don't hear anything, they're bad. They're bad because they just won't say anything and they'll just they'll be like, oh well, we only released it over 2 weeks and we just wanted to get it over and done with before Fantastic Four came out. And it's like yeah, whatever you say, but we know why you're not talking about the numbers because they are shit and we know it. So.
It's unfortunate.
It is, and I kind of feel bad for people that are involved and so on because obviously they're putting in good work and putting in time and effort and all this shit. But projects like this, just I don't think that they're for like they're for people for sure. Like there's obviously a fan base out there that's gonna love this, and that's fine, and I'm very happy for those people. But like I think to be a good business person, I think you need to entertain the masses first and then worry about like the smaller groups, like the young kids that are only getting started out and aren't going to have money to buy tickets to the cinema and stuff. Like it's like let's worry about them maybe after, or like whatever, let's make like a good film that's going to appeal to the entire fan base, and then if you want to put in a character in that movie that's going to appeal to the young people, do it that way. You know what I mean? But they're putting too much focus on trying to like please a very small percentage of the fan base, and it's very evident that it's not working. And I think Hollywood are just trying to do this. Is not just a stab at Marvel and the Disney Plus. Like this is Hollywood. Like right now, like I think they've lost like the kind of vision of what it means to fucking make money and make movies. Like like they're really like trying to like just laser focus on stuff that just people like don't want to see. I don't like it. Just doesn't like from a business point of view. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's bizarre, man. Absolutely bizarre. But anyway, do you want to watch the Fantastic Four, the final trailer for Fantastic Four? We can react to it. No. Okay. Well, I'm gonna watch it. So you want to step away for a minute?
Of course, I can watch it.
I'm joking. Share screen. Let's go.
Famous around the world, please welcome the Fantastic Four. Mr. Fantastic.
Oh, stretchy powers. Finally.
Invisible Woman.
For like a split second.
Yeah. Invisible powers. Finally.
I love you, Johnny.
And the Thing.
Hey, what time is it? Say the thing.
That's not really something I say.
It's clobbering time.
That's just in the cartoon. Never late for Sunday dinner. Let's eat.
Hey, what time is it?
It's dinner time. Get inside.
That little cheeky look on his face, that was brilliant.
I love it.
Yeah, that was good.
I herald his beginning.
Oh shit.
I herald your end. I herald
Oh fuck.
Galactus.
What is that?
Get us out of here, Ben! Hold on!
This looks good, man. CG and everything looks great.
Are we safe?
I don't know.
The clock is ticking.
Look who it is.
We are going to find a solution. We are going to make it right.
You don't want to just crush him.
I like that. The four of us will face the danger. We will protect you.
Family. It's about connecting to something bigger than yourself. We'll face it together. As a family.
Fantastic Four.
No.
What time is it, Ben?
No, Johnny.
Does he have a beard?
Yeah, I know.
Does he have a rock beard?
He
The
does.
fuck?
It's a fucking rock beard. That was cool, man. I really
Yeah, I
enjoyed
think
that
that's
trailer.
gonna. I think that's gonna come out pretty good.
Did you get your tickets?
Yes.
Live resale? Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
I did too.
I tried to do the like. Oh no, that was for Superman. The well, speaking of which, I tried to do for the Superman show because there was a like, oh, if you connect your Amazon to Fandango, you can, set up to see Superman a lot earlier than the 10th.
Yeah. I think Den and Nerds got tickets to that, but they were like actually more expensive than standard seats as well.
But I was trying, and I connected to Amazon, and then it was like, we can't sell you tickets because you're not connected to the Amazon. It's like, what do you mean? I just connected. Like, what?
Yeah,
It wouldn't let me.
Yeah, I know. Some screens. I think I heard him talking about this, but he was saying like that some of the screens were sold out straight away, some of them weren't. So you might have just been unlucky or something. Maybe I don't even know.
Yeah, it's fine.
Dan says I think the reason Reed's suit is one color because CGI was cheaper that way due to his stretching. I didn't even notice it, man. To be honest, I wasn't really paying attention to the color of his suit, but.
I mean, did you know that the reason why Mega Man is blue is because that was like the most common color that they could use to start him with, and it was like the easiest color.
Never thought about it. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, like they didn't really have much to work with. I think I can't remember what color they were originally going to put him as, but like they were like, blue, let's do blue because we got a lot of blue.
Yeah, man, I was quite impressed by that trailer. If I'm being honest, I thought that was
was
really good. So yeah, my hopes for the movie actually aren't that high, and I'm hoping that to go in and be like very pleasantly surprised. But yeah, I think it Marvel, they need this one to be a big one. They need this one, like it's the summer blockbuster for them. Like it needs to get asses and seats. So I think that trailer looks pretty impressive. I saw or I heard a plot leak for it. I'm not going to talk about it on the show because I was actually pissed off when I heard it, so I won't say anything. But if it turns out to be true, I'm going to be like, oh, I wish I didn't know that. It's something about like Nathaniel and stuff like that, and I'm just like, no, fuck, I wish I didn't know this. But yeah, fuck. I don't know.
Oh, wait, Nathaniel Richards?
Yeah.
You mean, God. Oh my God, you mean Kang?
And well, I think Kang, like a version of Kang, is Nathaniel Richards, I believe, in way in the future or something like that. But no, like the baby, obviously in this movie is Nathaniel, like he's born in this film, and I think that's the reason. So some of the leaks say is that the reason that Galactus comes to Earth is because of the birth of him, because he's such a powerful being. Like he's one of the most if not the most powerful being in the multiverse. So his birth, like pings out to, or Franklin. What am I saying Nathaniel for? Franklin Richards. Sorry, I'm an idiot. Nathaniel is like related to Reed though in a way. I think so, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry, I'm getting them mixed up. I'm thinking Franklin is the one I'm thinking of. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. I think his birth brings Galactus to Earth, basically. So that's not the leak that I heard, that, by the way. But yeah.
So is he going to eat the baby?
No, I think the baby might eat him. Shit him out. Do I have any other news to talk about? I know we were talking about the whole white Black Panther thing last week. I saw someone put up a thing that apparently there's a rumor going around that Gosling actually might play the variant of the Black Panther in the next Black Panther movie. And I've heard that
weird.
Denzel's going to play a variant of him, and there's going to be maybe 5 Panthers rocking around in the next movie. Like one of them being a white one of them being like an old man one who's going to be Denzel, and then there's going to be probably his son, like the 616 one, getting the chance to be the next T'Challa or whatever, the son of T'Challa. I don't know. Are we going to be fed up with multiverse stuff by the time it comes around? I don't know. I'm picturing it in my head right now, like a big multiversal thing, like Spider-Man No Way Home or whatever, where it's they're coming out of portals or something, and then I can just see it in my head, like the nanotech mask coming off, and it's fucking Ryan Gosling standing there. The more I hear people talking about it, I'm just I just still don't think Disney have the balls to do this. I really don't. I just think the backlash would be insane. It'd be phenomenal. It would be.
It's not worth it right now, I would say.
Yeah, it's a bold strategy, Cotton. It's a bold strategy. I don't see it working at all. I just don't see them doing it. I don't think they have the balls to pull the trigger on it, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we've nothing else to talk about, I might finish it there for the night. I know it's a bit of a shorter one than usual, but are you around next week?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll get a chance next week to finish the Ironheart episodes. I hear the last one is quite ballsy. Some of the stuff they do in the last one, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. The Bear will be out next week. We can talk about that if you're going to be caught up by then. I don't know if you will. I think it airs tomorrow night. So, and I think they're dropping the whole season in one go as well. So by next Wednesday, I'll definitely be finished it. So we can talk about the Bear a bit. We can talk about Ironheart. And I think we'll be gearing up for Fantastic Four then, I think. Yeah. So it's going to be good. Guys, I appreciate anybody who was hanging out with us live, or if you're listening to us on a replay, leave us a comment below, let us know what you think, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.